welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, or if you've never been here before, welcome. My name's Rachel and I'm the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Today's Friday and I have a thrift flip video for you. And for today's projects, I kind of had some fun pulling some mismatched items out of my stash and trying to create a cohesive vignette for fall with them. So I hope you like them and I hope you enjoy the video. There's a couple owls in there for all my owl lovers. And let me know at the end which of the projects your favorite is. And if you do enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would think about subscribing to my channel and then hit that little notification bell so you don't miss anything. Anyway, without further ado, let's get to the projects for today. So my first project for today is this little ceramic owl. I found him at the thrift store and he had been spray painted, and when I had him in my sink of hot soapy water, a lot of the spray paint started to come off, and I was really hoping that I could get him all stripped back down to his natural original look. But unfortunately, I could not get the spray paint off the top of his little head. And then I also realized that there was a chip in his beak. So I was kind of forced to go in and paint him. So I decided to start by giving him a coat of Rustoleum 2X in that espresso color first as a base coat, and then go in with my DIY paint. And I picked the color Summer Crush. This is such a beautiful color for summer and for fall. And so I went in with my small bristle brush so that I could get into all those little pierced areas and the details. And I followed that up with my harder bristle, bigger brush to stipple the paint just to avoid any brush stroke marks. Once that was all done, I am going in here with my damp shop towel and doing some distressing. The great thing about this paint is, since it is water-based paint, it can be removed just with a little bit of water and of course some elbow grease. And I really like the look of the distressing, so this was a great piece to do that with, just to bring back a little bit of that brown and really highlight some of the details in this little bird. Once that was done, it was time to seal my paint. And for that, I chose Big Top, and you can see how it really darkens up the paint. But once it's dry, it'll lighten up somewhere in between the wet paint color and the darker sealed color, and that's what you'll end up with. It's really kind of fun how it works. And so you can see there how dark it is, and then you can see in my hand right here how light it is. So it's kind of crazy, the difference once it's dry. Anyway, after I was done with the Big Top and it had completely dried, I decided I wanted it to be just a little bit more patinaed and have a little bit more of an aged look to it. So I'm just going in really lightly with some DIY dark wax, going over it with one good even coat of the wax in sections, and then wiping it back with my shop towel as I go. And it just really helps highlight some of the little details and some of the lower areas in this piece. I really like how this came out. What do you guys think? So project 2 is another pretty darn simple makeover. I found this adorable picture of owls on my last junk run, and I just absolutely loved it. I think they're so cute. And the frame is in pretty good shape. There were a couple areas where it looks like it had minimal damage, but I wanted the little strip of matte around the picture is black. And I thought it'd look really nice and sharp if the frame was also black. So I am going in with one good even coat of DIY's Little Black Dress. I absolutely love this color. It's such a nice silky black. And once that was done, I went ahead and sealed my paint. And for that, I'm just using DIY's Big Top. And once that was done, I realized that it was very plain and I needed to do something. So I decided to go in with some white wax over that big top. Now, the nice thing about sealing your piece first is that the white wax isn't necessarily going to really change the color of your paint, but it will help fill in any details, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So you can see it lightens up the black ever so slightly, but it fills in those little details around the rim of the frame and just makes it stand out a little bit more and give this frame just a little bit more detail and a little bit more character, which is really nice. So I just continued going around the whole entire piece with the white wax by DIY, and then I'm just using a shop towel to wipe off any excess. Once that was done, it's time to remove the masking tape and clean up my frame. Now, one thing I have learned is never, ever, ever spray Windex too broadly over a piece of glass that you've waxed because it will take the wax back off. So I was really careful to just squirt it right in the middle and then gave this frame a really good clean. And then this project's done. For project 3, I grabbed these 3 little boxes out of my stash and decided to first give them some feet. Now, I hope you guys remember, these are the little knobs off of the ends of the magazine rack that I recently tore down. So this is me utilizing another piece of that magazine rack. So I took 4 of the little knobs and glued them onto each of the corners of the bottoms of the box. Now, the first time I realized I put way too much glue on the little knobs. So the second go around on the second box, I put a little less glue and then wiped it with my finger to kind of smooth it out a little bit. And then once I got done putting the 4 on the second box, I looked and I realized that some of them were different. So I had to take a lot of the knobs back off and start over, making sure that they matched with each other before I glued them back down. Once that was done and my puzzle was complete and I had matching feet on all of my boxes, I decided to go ahead and paint the feet. So I am going in with DIY's weathered wood for this. I love this color because it's not quite gray and it's not quite brown. It's a beautiful mix of the two, and it looks just like weathered wood, especially if you put white wax over it. So for these, I'm just giving them 2 good even coats of the weathered wood color just on those little feet. And once that's done and it's dry, I'm going in with DIY's Big Top to seal my paint. Once the feet are done, it's time to move on to actually decorating these guys. And I am going to be decoupaging them. So I decided to go ahead and paint the face of each one of the boxes with DIY's White Swan. So I'm going in and very, very carefully trying to make a nice straight line down either side so that just the one side of each of the boxes is painted white. I just had to put 1 coat of the White Swan over. This paint has such great coverage that's all I needed to do. Then I am going to cut out some pieces of this absolutely fantastic decoupage paper by Roycycled. This one is called Heirloom Pumpkins, and I am just cutting out the pieces that I want to use. Now, I did go ahead and paint the backs of some of these white just so that as I'm layering them, it's a little easier. With this one, I actually cut off the piece that was going to be underneath the pumpkin, just because I had not painted the back of the pumpkin white. So once I did that, I went ahead and put a little bit of liquid patina on it, and then just began laying my pieces down one at a time. So a little bit of liquid patina on the back of the pumpkin, laid it down where I needed it, and then followed up with liquid patina on the rest of the piece. This was a little bit of a time-consuming process, and one thing I would recommend going forward, if you're going to be layering your decoupage pieces, you might as well go ahead and paint the backs of all of them white, because you just never know how you're going to want to layer them, and if you already have the back painted white, you're one step ahead. So this is the next box, and I had this blue pumpkin, and so I kind of played around with my pieces to figure out exactly where I wanted everything before I glued them all down with the liquid patina. And then I just start with my very bottom layer, which is this little piece of wheat, and so that one gets a coat of liquid patina, and then followed that up with each individual layer after that. So again, for this one, I decided to cut off a little bit because I had not painted the back of my pumpkin. And so then I had to lay my pumpkin down over the pieces, and then again, just follow that up with the liquid patina, make sure everything is laid down nice and flat. Then it's time to add my last couple of flowers. So I just put a little bit of liquid patina where I want them to go, place each one down, and then make sure it's laid down nice and flat in that liquid patina. Once that's done, I did go over the piece with another coat of liquid patina just to get out any wrinkles and to make sure everything was laid down nicely. This last box, I didn't have another pumpkin, so I just went in with some flowers and used those instead. Then covered that with a coat of liquid patina, and then the 3 boxes got set aside to dry. Once they're nice and dry, I'm going in with some 120 grit sandpaper and giving a little bit of a distress around the corners of each box, and also removing any excess paper that is hanging over the sides of the box. And to do that, you just use a downward kind of motion and gently sand that excess paper off. Once that was done, I decided to go ahead and seal the entire box on the outside with DIY's liquid patina. The reason I did this was just to help seal that wood, because it is kind of raw wood, and to protect it from stains or anything in the future. Once that was done and the liquid patina was dry again, I decided I really didn't care for how bright that white paint was on the front. So I went in with some DIY dark wax and gave each one of these a little light layer of dark wax to just kind of tone that white color down and to make the fronts of these mesh a little better with the rest of the piece. So I just covered all of the white paint with the dark wax and then went around the corners a little heavier just to give it more of an aged look and make it look a little bit more distressed and patinaed. And I absolutely love how they came out. So for my fourth and final project, I'm going to be taking this wood plaque that I've had in my stash for a long time and marrying it with this candle holder that I recently picked up. And for the very first step, I went ahead and sanded the top of the plaque just to make sure that it was completely smooth. Then I took both pieces out and I gave them one good even coat of Rustoleum 2X in that espresso color. Once that was done and the spray paint was completely dry, I brought the pieces back in and I'm going over them with 2 good even coats of DIY's Aviary. I absolutely love this green, and this is a beautiful 4-season color that can be used all year long and goes great with just about everything. Now, just a reminder, any of the DIY products you see me use in today's video can be purchased on my website at www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. Once both coats of paint are completely dry, I'm going in with my damp shop towel and giving both the top and the base of this piece a good distressing. This is basically, again, just to bring out the detail in both of these pieces and show off a little bit of the brown underneath. Once that's done and I'm satisfied with my distressing, I went ahead and glued the top onto the bottom. For that, I'm just using this Titebond Quick and Thick, putting a little bit of that glue around the rim and making sure that it's nice and even, and then placing that in the center of the plaque. I had to make sure too that all the edges were pointing the same direction. Once that was done and the glue was completely dry, it's time to seal my paint. And for this project, I decided to go with wax. And so I am giving it one good even coat of DIY's clear wax first. And then, so that this kind of matches the aged patina of the other pieces that I've done, I am going to go over it with a coat of DIY's dark wax. And the beautiful thing about putting the clear wax on first is it makes it really easy to move around your dark wax so that it's not too heavy or thick in any one area. I also tend to mix a little bit of mineral spirits in with my wax as I go, and that also helps in making sure that your wax isn't too clumpy or goopy when you put it on. So just one thin coat of the dark wax over that beautiful green paint, and it just gives it the perfect amount of patina and makes it look just a little bit more aged. One of the good things about the colored waxes is that you can go over them again and again and build them up as much as you'd like. And so for this, I wanted the crevices and the cracks in the base to have just a little bit more of a grungy, aged appearance. So I took my little artist brush and dipped it in the dark wax and just went around in all the grooves and gave just a little bit more aged look to those. Then it was on to dark waxing the top, so just gave it a quick run around the rim of it, and then a thin coat on the top. Wiped that back with my shop towel, and then this piece is done. Think of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please again remember to give it that thumbs up. I so appreciate that. I would love to know which of the projects your favorite was, so don't forget to comment below and let me know. And are there a lot of owl lovers out there? I have been searching high and low, trying to find as many as I can to fit in. I just think they're such a cool little addition for fall vignettes. So I was excited to find the two that are in this one. Anyway, I would love it if you haven't already, if you think about subscribing to my channel, and then just hit that little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And again, if you want any of the products or need any of the products that you saw me use in today's video, they can be purchased through me at my website at www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. For Tuesday, I really don't know at this point exactly what that's going to look like. My husband and I are leaving on a trip tomorrow, and we are going to be gone until Monday, so I don't have time to really do any projects for Tuesday's video. We are going to be hitting a few thrift stores along the way, so it could possibly be a thrift haul, and we're definitely going to be bringing home some cool plants with us, so you might get to see some of the neat plants that we picked up on the west side of the state. So we'll see what I come up with on Tuesday. I hope you'll join me here for it no matter what, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.